What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another AZ Aus video. In today's video, we'll be just briefly touching over the recent Pro Football Focus offensive line rankings article that's come out. In the article and the ranking list, the Arizona Cardinals offensive line was ranked 21st in the league. Now, for some outsiders, this might come as a bit of a surprise, considering, there's a stigma that the Arizona Cardinals offensive line is just garbage, it's bad, it's terrible, they need to improve the offensive line through the draft. Then they'd improve the offensive line in free agency. That's the current stigma around the league ever since, I guess, maybe 2017 onwards. Basically, in the 2018 season with Josh Rosen, a lot of outsiders, a lot of people who aren't, tapped into the Arizona Cardinals team didn't really understand that a lot of the starting offensive linemen were injured that season, hence why the offensive line was so poor. Now, in the 21st ranking on the tier list, the offensive line that was ranked was last year's offensive line, being DJ Humphries at left tackle, posting his career best pass protection stat and being able to stay healthy for all 16 games. Justin Pugh at left guard, who ranked 9th best amongst all guards in pass protection, getting healthy, being both that left side being able to play all 16 games. The center, AQ Shipley, who's no longer or currently not on the team, he posted a pass protection grade above 70 as well. The right guard, JR Sweezy, had his best pass protection grade per PFF grading, of course, since 2013. And finally, the right guard, Justin Murray, who started as a backup, basically had the lowest pass blocking grade. And, well, I guess that's expected, considering he was, he only recently joined the team. He joined basically after roster cuts, so he did a pretty good and a solid job, in my opinion, for somebody joining the team that late and having to jump into a role with Marcus Gilbert going down. Now, in terms of the pass blocking statistic, per Pro Football Focus, their grading scale, the Arizona Cardinals were ranked 9th in the total, in the whole league for their pass protection stat. Which is pretty good, considering that's what Cliff's offense was, sort of tailored to do. It's, the air raid, quote unquote air raid system, 5 wide, 4 wide, just throw the ball around the yard. So that's important, being that, the schemes are reliant more so on passing than it is running. However, in terms of this whole stigma that the Cardinals offensive line is terrible, hosts on ESPN, the big networks are always saying, well, the Cardinals offensive line allowed X amount of stats. Well, the stats regarding Kyler Murray, sort of impacting on the offensive line, were that he allowed 42 pressures and 23 sacks. So per Pro Football Focus grading, they grade every play. And Kyler Murray on his own was charged with those 23 sacks and 42 pressures. They went on to say in their podcast about this article that if, a tackle was charged with that amount of pressures in a season, they would be ranked 4th or 5th highest in the league, which, that's atrocious. And in terms of sacks, if a tackle or a tackle duo allowed that many sacks between the two of them, they would no longer be starting. Which is a fair point, and I think that's something, Kyler coming in as a rookie maybe got away with in college, but that's something him and Cliff will learn and develop upon to reduce those errors. If there's a play, Kyler was known for in college that he would just go for it. He was known for like this gunslinging, a lot more of a gunslinging mentality than Baker, because he was a 1-year starter. That was his 1 year to make it to show his skill. And I think in the coming season, not only will Cliff help Kyler understand that, but Kyler himself will know, yes, I understand, I probably should have just thrown the ball away. You saw in the first game against Detroit, the sack that I'll be showing on the screen, and also an interception that he threw earlier in the game where he should have just thrown it out of bounds, and he knew that, underthrew the ball a little bit, and it got intercepted. Now, in terms of the run blocking grades, the Arizona Cardinals, per the Pro Football Focus grading, they were ranked 9th worst, so the opposite end of the scale. 9th best in pass protection, 9th worst in run blocking. Now, it's funny to take this into account, because the Arizona Cardinals were actually the offensive line ranked 2nd in the league for yards before contact. Now, what does that tell you? If you're ranked bottom 9th in the league for run blocking, but you're second in the league for yards before contact. Well, basically, that means Cliff Kingsbury has done an awesome job in terms of his run scheme and acquiring. Cliff was the one that said to Steve Keim, we've got to get Kenyon Drake. He's going to fit in this offense. And he did. He overtook David Johnson for the starting job, and now he'll be our RB1 going into the 2020 season. So basically, with what we can see here is that if teams want to flood the box to stop the run, this is where the Cliff Kingsbury offense is going to take off, because we're going to have 4 wide, 3 wide with the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins, the receivers from the 2019 draft, developing, such as Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler coming back from injury. If you want to throw in Keyshawn Johnson, I don't think he's that good, but you can throw him in there as well. Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald will no longer see the number 1 corners. That's going to be Nuke Hopkins now. So if teams want to flood the box to try to stop the run, we're going to attack you through the air, through the air raid system. So I guess in terms of that, it just goes to show how good Cliff Kingsbury's scheme and how much of a fit Kenyon Drake is in the scheme to the run blocking grades, but being top 10 in rushing per their grades, and also second in the league for yards before contact. That just goes to show that Cliff adapted. As we all saw through the season, he adapted, putting more tight ends out there, not just having, 4 wide, as there was a league statistic where we had so many more 4 receiver sets than the rest of the league, which obviously adapted towards the end of the season. And I guess I just touch on my projection for the 2020 offensive line as well, just to finish off on the PFF article. I think we're ranked, I think it's a pretty fair ranking of our offensive line. I'd say 21 is probably fair. So no disagreement from me. Please drop a comment with where you would rank our offensive line. And now let's just touch briefly on the 2020 starters. So I do think from the left side it'll maintain the same. So it'll be DJ Humphries at left tackle, Justin Pugh at left guard. Center, there'll be a change. Obviously, Mason Cole, I believe, will have the starting job. He's had a year now to learn the system, backing up AQ Shipley. He wasn't just thrown in there like he was under Mike McCoy. So I think there's an upgrade there in our center. Right guard, I think J.R. Sweezy will be coming back for that right guard position. However, do keep an eye on for Lamont Gilead. When he was drafted in the 6th round, on the phone call with him, Steve Keim told him, "You're going to come in. Are you able to come in and play guard for us?" So that's a name to keep an eye on for that right guard position as well. But I do believe J.R. Sweezy will be the starter. And finally, right tackle. I believe this will be Marcus Gilbert's job. Josh Jones, I believe, will develop under Marcus Gilbert. Justin Murray, they might even switch Justin Murray as a backup left tackle. But I do think Marcus Gilbert will give Josh Jones a year to learn under the system, which is sort of a theme for the Cliff Kingsbury coaching era so far in Arizona. We've seen it with multiple players, Andy Isabella, Demir Bird, Mason Cole, AQ Shipley, and now Marcus Gilbert and Josh Jones. So I believe Marcus Gilbert will be the starting right tackle, and I think that's a solid offensive line. Not an elite, not the best offensive line, but a good, solid offensive line, able to get the job done, with Kyler Murray getting better, improving on reducing his mistakes in terms of pressures and sacks. I think we're going to see a stronger offensive line, knock on wood, that they all stay healthy for the 2020 season. Please do drop a comment with what you think the 2020 offensive line will be. Do you think Marcus Gilbert's going to get that job? Do you think Josh Jones will actually be out in camp and be our starting right tackle? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, please do take care.